Hello everyone, welcome to this session on how to become a DevOps engineer. Today in this session we will be teaching you what is DevOps, and we will also be taking you through some important concepts that you should know while you're learning DevOps. Towards the end we will also tell you how you can get started in the DevOps career. So let's get started with the first topic, which is need for DevOps. So how did DevOps come into the picture? Why did we need DevOps? Let's go ahead and understand that. So guys, DevOps basically is all about efficiency, which basically has to be incorporated in software development lifecycle, and this is done using automation, right? In the crux of what DevOps is, this is what it comes out to be. And DevOps is not about one tool. DevOps is not about a culture. DevOps is not about a process that has to be followed. It's basically a mindset where we continuously improve the software development lifecycle, and we do that using automation. And this automation is achieved using various DevOps tools, which we will be talking about as we move along. Moving forward, now, how did DevOps come into the picture? Why are we talking about DevOps today? So the answer to that is hidden in how the software development lifecycle has actually developed over the years. So in the starting, when there was no process followed for developing a software, this was the first model which was introduced, which is the waterfall model. So what is the waterfall model? Waterfall model basically told us that before starting any software project, you first have to take in all the requirements from the stakeholders who want the software to be developed. Then after you have the requirements, you go ahead and design the software, right? On a piece of paper, you design what all modules you have to come up with, you design what all functions you have to define, right? What all features you can develop, and then you go ahead and pass it on to the development team, who go ahead and implement it, which is then verified by the testers, and then it is maintained once it is put out in the production system. So this is what the waterfall model did. Now there is a drawback to the waterfall model. What is that drawback? You will understand it once we come to the second methodology, which is agile methodology. Now the problem with waterfall model was, guys, that as you can see, all the requirements have to be taken in this stage, right? Once the requirements are taken in, this stage gets locked. So let's say you want a website and you want 10 features in that website. So once you give this requirements to the team who's going to develop the software for you, and they enter the design stage, you cannot tweak your requirements anymore, right? So this was the first drawback, that you were not flexible enough to incorporate all the changes that you wanted. The next thing is that, imagine now, if you want to develop a software which is going to take 2 to 3 years to develop, right? Now, going by the market trends, if you follow the market trends, they change every day, right? And if we are promised a software product which we will be given after 2 years, we don't even know whether we will have the use for that product or not, right? And that is for one reason that the waterfall model actually failed, because by the time the software was complete, the stakeholders or the people who wanted that software to be developed, their requirements changed, right? So this was solved using the agile methodology. Now what happened in agile methodology was that instead of taking all the requirements in one time, right, they took requirements in parts. So in the first iteration, let's say the software is divided into 3 iterations, whatever requirements have come in. So in the first iteration, they will only develop the important features, and they will try to give that to the team who wants the software to be developed, maybe within a month, or let's say within 15 days or 20 days. So this way they were not only able to get the software out in a lot lesser time, but at the same time, let's say now when you give the product to the team who wanted the software to be developed, if they tell you, okay, you know what, the feature that we told you last month that you have to work on, let's change that feature and let's tweak it to something else, right? So this is possible now. Why? Because you have not started working on that feature. You will do that in the iteration second or iteration third. So this methodology gave a lot of flexibility to the teams who wanted the software to be developed, right? And at the same time, it also gave confidence to the development team as well that their product is actually going to be used, right? Because you give the first iteration of the software within days, so their requirements don't change drastically. Okay, so this was the agile methodology. So then came the third methodology, which is the lean methodology. Now, what was the problem which the lean methodology solved? So agile methodology gave us the flexibility that, okay, you can go ahead and develop software the way you want, and my requirements can change whenever they want, right? Now, lean methodology, it implemented the agile model, but at the same time, it also focused on reducing the time it took to develop even the first iteration of the software or the second iteration of the software. Now, how did this model achieve it? This was achieved using conscious efforts towards minimizing time which are spent in meetings, minimizing times, when let's say there are some extra meetings happening for the project. So that is not at all, if it is not required, then it was not pursued. So lean methodology, it basically endorsed a Hawkeye view of the whole project and understand what are the things which are not required, remove them, and keep following the agile methodology. This was what the lean model was. Now, why did we do all these things? We did all these things because we wanted to solve the problem between the customer and the company who's developing the software. So earlier the customers, like I said, when if they were implementing the waterfall model, the customers used to say that the software that we wanted, you're delivering it after 2 years. And now that you're delivering it after 2 years, if there are any changes that we want in our requirements, that also you're not ready to incorporate, right? So these were the kind of complaints which came from customers, and that was solved using agile methodology. Now, when it was solved using agile methodology, customers, they didn't have any complaints, but still there was a room for improvement in the terms of delivery of the software. So that was solved using lean, where a conscious effort was put in to reduce the time which was basically taken to complete a software project. Now that is sorted, let's have a look at a very good example over here, which can tell you what DevOps actually solves. So this is basically a preview of the problem which DevOps solves. So developer, he develops a feature, they put in all their efforts, and the development team comes up with the feature. Now the job of QA is to verify that feature, right? So once they verify the feature, they find a bug and they give it back to the developer. So this is a very funny analogy as to what is the problem between developers and the operations or the testers which are there in the team, right? So developers always think that, whatever they develop, the tester, they will find a problem in it, and they will put a hinder in their work from going to production. Okay, now that you understand what is the problem between developers and operations, it will be very clear to you what DevOps is. So coming back to the same definition that we had, that what is DevOps exactly? DevOps is this. So DevOps basically deals in maximizing efficiency with automation in software development lifecycle. So let's say you're following the agile methodology, right? So whatever change of hands happen between agile methodology, wherein let's say developer A has to give their work to developer B, or let's say the whole team of developers, they have developed a feature and they want to give it back to testers for verification. So all this lift and shift, it used to happen using automation tools, right? And what are those automation tools? That is exactly what you will learn while you're learning DevOps. So in DevOps, you have different stages. You have plan, you have code, you have build, you have test, right? So all these are different stages, and all these stages, they involve a different set of tool, and all these tools, they connect with each other and they give us the DevOps lifecycle. Okay, so right now, don't worry about the tools, what tools will be there, how much time do I have to invest in learning all those tools. Just understand this, that DevOps is a life cycle which is implemented using automation, and this is achieved using a lot of DevOps tools, some of which we are going to discuss today. Okay, moving along. So what did DevOps solve? So DevOps basically aims at solving the problem between the development team and the operations team, right? So there should be no complaints from the development team that, the feature that I developed, it works fine. On my system, I think there's a problem with the operations team system, and that's why they're reverting back with the code and saying that there's a bug in the code, right? So all these kind of problems which were there between the development team and the operations team, they were solved using DevOps tools, which majorly involved automation and which majorly involved things which could lead to manual errors. Alright, so before we go ahead guys, if you have any questions, I would request you guys to put it in the live chat and I'd be happy to answer them. So any questions so far, and I'd be happy to answer. Any questions? Also guys, I just see that there are 6 likes on this session and we have around 20-25 people watching. So let's take this like number up, right? And if you have any questions up till now, I'd be happy to answer. Just put them in the live chat and I will read them out and I will answer it for you. Okay, moving along. So what is the next topic? So next what we're going to look at is, now that you understand what is the problem of DevOps and what you can solve by learning DevOps, let's understand why pursue a career in DevOps. Let's go ahead and understand that. So according to Forbes guys, DevOps can help your company to reduce failures by up to 3 times. It can help you improve recovery times by up to 24 times, and it can help you to increase the deployment frequency by up to 200 times. So these are the things because of which companies want to implement DevOps, and that is reflected in the numbers. So if you see in India alone, there are 28,637 jobs on just one job portal. So these numbers are from Naukri.com. So there are 28,637 open job positions which are ready to be applied on, but they have not been filled yet, right? And the average salaries across all these jobs, which is 28,000 odd jobs, is 14 lakhs per annum, which is a good salary considering considering the other job profiles which are out there, right? Similarly, if you are in the US, there are around 1,44,000 jobs which are vacant right now, which are ready to be filled, and the average salary among all these jobs is $1,41,960 per year. So this is again a very good number considering the job market which is there in US, right? So why should you pursue a career in DevOps? Because there are ample number of jobs. If you learn all the skills that we're going to talk about in today's session, right, you will be eligible to apply to all these jobs, and the salary that you can expect is the number that you see on the screen. Okay, moving forward, now let's talk about how to get started. So you understand, okay, so DevOps is a lucrative career, there are many jobs out there, it pays handsomely. You also understand the problem that you will be solving when you become a DevOps engineer, but how do you go ahead and get started? So if you have any questions before you go ahead, I will be happy to answer them. So Sanjay says hi Edureka, hi Sanjay. Shravan says hi Shravan. Guys, I'd be happy to answer any queries if you have, right? Also guys, I will be putting a form right now on the chat, so please go ahead and fill that form for us, right? If you are interested in this program, you can just go ahead and fill this form, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, if you want to check out the DevOps course, I will leave the link in the chat again, and you can use the YouTube code, the promo code YouTube20, and that will basically help you to get a flat 20% off on the course. That is the DevOps course that we are running. Okay, having said that, so Shravan has a question. He says, is the operations team part of the development team? No, Shravan. So development team only has coders. They only have developers who work on the product that has to be developed. Operations team, on the other hand, their job is to basically test the product which the development team creates, move that product to the production system, right? So that's basically the job of the operations team. Now, what is DevOps all about? DevOps is all about solving the problem between the development team and the operations team because of the manual effort that they had to put. Okay, I hope the answer is clear, Shravan. If you have doubts, you can ask again and I can repeat it for you. Others, if there are any doubts, please put it in the live chat and I'd be happy to answer. Okay, So how do you go ahead and get started in the DevOps career? Let's go ahead and understand that. So guys, this is a job description from the company McAfee, right? And these are the things that they expect you to know when you're applying for their senior DevOps engineer profile. So they expect you to know Terraform. They expect you to know Agile software delivery model, which I just told you guys. They expect you to know CI/CD pipelines. They expect you to know DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database, and they expect you to know DevOps as a whole, right? This is just one job description, but what I'm trying to show you over here is the skills that they are expecting. Okay, moving along, here's another job description from Walmart Labs, and what they expect is you to know a public cloud platform like Azure, GCP, or AWS. They expect you to know configuration management. They expect you to know Kubernetes. They expect you to know monitoring, right? So if all these skills are something that you have, you can apply for this job as well. Next, let's have a look at a job from Rakuten company. So Rakuten, they basically expect you to know CI/CD pipelines. They expect you to know configuration management. They expect you to know Terraform, Kubernetes, ELK, which is a log management solution. They expect to know Linux, Python, Docker containers, so on and so forth. So every DevOps engineer profile that you will have a look at, these are the skills that they will expect you to know. They will expect you to know version control systems. They will expect you to know containerizations. They will expect you to know CI/CD pipelines, programming language, configuration management, monitoring tools, and a public cloud platform, which can either be AWS or Azure or GCP. Right. So these are the skills that you have to learn in order to get started with DevOps. Right. So now, how can you learn these skills? This is the million-dollar question. So that, let's go ahead and understand that where can we learn these things and how exactly to prepare for them. But before that, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Any questions, guys? Great. So if there are no questions, let's move along. And let me tell you where you can learn these things from. So guys, first and foremost, what you can do is you can check out our YouTube channel, which you are already on, right? So we have around 3.25 million subscribers, and we have almost around 6,000 to 7,000 videos, which we have already uploaded on our YouTube channel. So you can go through them, you can see the concepts that we have shown you here, understand them, and learn all the skills which I just showed you, which are over here. Okay. Next thing that you can also learn from are our blogs, right? So we have many blogs which we publish every day, right? So just head over to edureka.co/blog, and from there you can get an idea of different skills that we just discussed. Now, if you're looking out for a professional training, so let's say you're someone who works in a 9 to 5 job, right? They get tired, you get tired after coming home, right? You cannot spare 2 to 3 hours or 6 hours. So minimal, you will need around 6 to 7 hours of study every week. If you cannot do that, then don't worry, you're not alone. There are many people like you, and that is why companies like us exist, right? So we at Edureka, we offer the Devops certification training, and let me take you through, what all we basically offer, and from there you can decide if this is the product for you. So let me quickly switch to my browser. Okay, so guys, this is the DevOps certification course that we are talking about. You can also check this out in the live chat. The link is given in the live chat. You can visit this page. So what we have done is we have come up with a curriculum which is exactly in line with the jobs which are out there. So I just showed you the skills that you need in order to become a DevOps engineer, right? Now we've taken all those skills and we have come up with this course, this exhaustive course on DevOps, which teaches you all of those skills and more of in many detail from an instructor who himself is a DevOps engineer and has around 10 to 15 years of experience, right? So as you can see, we teach you version control, we teach you configuration management, we teach you containerization, we teach you CI/CD pipelines, and that is done using Jenkins. So that is over here, continuous integration, right? We teach you Terraform, we teach you monitoring, we teach you AWS. So all of that is part of our curriculum, and if you go through this curriculum, you should be able to apply to the DevOps engineer profiles which are out there, right? Now, of course, there were a lot of skills out there. It also expected you to know a programming language. It also expected you to know a public cloud platform in detail. So for that, we also have one more course, which is the master's program, the DevOps Engineer Master's program. So if you want to apply to a job, an entry-level job, which can fetch you anywhere between 10 to 16 lakhs per annum in India, right, or 100 to 120,000 dollars in the US, then this course should be enough for you, right? The DevOps certification course. But if you are aiming for senior profiles, then in that case, you can check out our engineering master's program, where we will not only teach you DevOps, which I just showed you, we will also teaching you Python, because there was an expectation of knowing a programming language. We will also be teaching you Linux, which is a very important operating system, and this is most widely used in production environments. We also teach you Docker as a separate course. We also teach you AWS DevOps as a cloud technology, and we also teach you Splunk, which is a monitoring tool, right? Apart from this, we also give you elective courses like Jenkins, Puppet, Chef, Git and GitHub, which you can also go through. So you can understand from the skills mentioned here that this is a lot longer program and it covers a lot of things in depth, right? But if you're going for this particular program, there is nothing which is unturned for you to become a DevOps engineer, right? Now, the question which might be coming in your mind is that why should I take a course from Edureka, right? Why not get a course from somewhere else and get started with this technology? So let me shed let me shed some light over there. Okay. So first of all, guys, what you get from us is 60 days of Cloud Lab access, and this you get both in the DevOps certification course that we offer and the DevOps Engineer Master's program. Okay, now why do we give this is because all the tools that you have to run for learning DevOps, they require some memory, they require some CPU usage, and we understand that you might not have a high-end system on your end on which you can run each and every tool. So for that, we give you Cloud Lab. So you don't have to install anything on your system. Everything can be practiced on the remote servers which we offer in terms of our Cloud Lab. Okay, so that is point number one. Second thing is that all our trainers are 10 to 15 years of experience, right? And they are top DevOps engineers. We take rigorous interviews before we induct them in any batch, right? So we have good amount of trainers with good experience who are going to teach you. And the awesome thing about learning from trainers is that you get to know about how they transitioned from their previous job into the DevOps domain and how they are growing right now, right? What is something that you have to focus on when you get a DevOps job? All those kind of questions, they can be answered by the DevOps instructors, right? Now, the most important thing is that you get 24/7 support also from us, which basically means now once the class is over from the instructor, what do you do next, right? You might be going through the concepts on your own and you might get questions as to okay, the trainer told me this, but when I'm implementing it on my system, I'm getting an error. So how do you solve that error? So you can call us 24/7, and we have a set of technical people in our teams who are going to help you solve that technical doubt of yours. And also, if you need clarification also on something, that can also be provided to you in this 24/7 expert support. You get lifetime access to all the course content. You get lifetime access to all the live classes. You can attend them as many times as you want, right? So that's the meaning of lifetime access. So it doesn't mean that you take a course from us today, you go through that course and that course is over for you. Let's say after 2 months, you again want to go through the DevOps course. Maybe some concepts are not clear for you. so you want to go through them again, you can again attend live classes with a different instructor, and everything is inclusive in the cost that you pay to us, right? We also have included real life case studies. Now, what do you mean by real life case studies? We understand that normal assignments won't work for you, right? We understand that you want to apply for a job, so that's why we have curated, with the instructor pool that we have curated real life scenarios or real problems that companies give to their DevOps engineers, and we have put them as assignments, and that is how we evaluate you after we teach you the concepts. You're supposed to solve those case studies, and you're supposed to come back to us, and we have the confidence that if you're able to solve those case studies, you are ready for the job environment that you're supposed to go in, that is as a DevOps engineer. Now, when you're solving these case studies, guys, and once you've solved them, you can also include them in your resume, because the number one question that you might see that people ask when you want to switch your domain is, do you have any experience in this domain, right? Now, how will you have experience in that domain if you have studied it and you're then starting to apply for jobs, right? So these case studies, these assignments, they can basically cover up that experience for you, because all these things which you will be doing in these case studies, they are equivalent to a 2-year or 3-year DevOps professional who's working in the industry, right, learning everything from scratch, and then he is able to solve those use cases, right? But because we are teaching you, and we are teaching you from top instructors, and you're doing that every week, so all this knowledge is imparted to you, and then you're asked to solve these case studies, right? All our sessions are online and they are live, which basically means instructors, so the way our training works is we teach on weekdays and we teach on weekends, right? So you can choose either a weekday or a weekend, whichever class you want, and then trainers, they basically take out time from their offices and they teach you in that time. For example, most of our instructors are free on the weekend, so weekend classes are the most in demand for us. And what the instructors do is they start teaching you at 8 p.m. in the night Indian time, and they teach you till 11 p.m. So 3 hours every weekend. So if you have 2 weekends, you get 6 hours of classes every weekend, and in the weekdays you have to solve the assignments and come back to the instructor in the next class, which will happen on the next weekend. And meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can always talk to our 24/7 expert support team. Okay, so this was about the DevOps certification training, guys. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer, and if you want to clarify something, I will also be happy to answer all these things for you. Okay, so I have a question about from Nikhil. So, hi Edureka, my question is about, is this mandatory to learn programming language in DevOps? Nikhil, some companies, they expect you to know a programming language, and hence we have also included it in our curriculum. And yes, so you can say that it's a prereq that you have to learn. It's always good to know a programming language, and the reason for that is most of the logics that you implement, right, are based on logics from programming languages also. So mostly as a DevOps engineer, you will not be expected to code every day, but here and there you might have to implement if else logics or loops kind of logic. So all these basic programming skills are expected from you. Okay, so I have a question from Tushar. He says, is there any job assurity? Well, Tushar, we help you in job placements, and the way we do that is once your course is over, we expect you to submit all the assignments, we rate you on those assignments, and then we give you feedback. So these are the things that you probably need to improve on, these are the things that you have to prepare on better, these are the things which are clear for you, right? So once we have a satisfactory performance on your end, we give mock interviews to you. Now in these mock interviews, we basically mimic what happens in interview rooms, the kind of questions which are asked, right? So we prepare you for interviews by conducting mock interview sessions. We also help you prepare your resume, because preparing your resume is the first step towards applying for your dream job, right? So if you want to go ahead and apply for jobs, you should have the right set of keywords in your resume. So we help you in that as well. Okay. Ravindra says, I have already enrolled, but the content is basic. Well, Ravindra, have you enrolled in the DevOps certification course or the DevOps Engineers Masters program? Because like I said, if it's DevOps certification course, then in that case, we teach you for the jobs which aim between 10 lakhs to 14 lakhs per annum. But if you are aiming for a senior profile, then in that case, you have to enroll for the DevOps Engineer Masters program. Okay. Nuruddin Kamal says, I'm in Poland and interested in this course. Great, Kamal. So what you can do is, I'll put a link in the chat. It's basically a form. Just fill up this form and we should get back to you. Is there any discount for me? Absolutely, Kamal. So you get a flat 20% off if you're attending this session, and you can mention that to the course advisor who's going to get in touch with you. Just leave your details in this form which I've just shared, and we will get in touch with you shortly then. Okay. Ravindra says it is not enough to get a job in the market. Well, Ravindra, I will like to differ here from you. So it's better if you are already enrolled, get in touch with us and let's see what skills are pending for you, and maybe we can guide you as to what is not going well for you so that you can apply for a job. Okay, Chetan says, is this live or is this a premiere? Chetan, this is a live session that we are conducting right now. Harsh says, fresher with long gap will be able to get this job. I'm a 2016 pass out. Sure. So Harsh, even if you have a gap, it doesn't matter. So what you have to do is, you need to apply to the jobs and show them that you are the correct fit for the job, right? And that kind of confidence you will only get once you solve all the case studies, once you go through all the concepts that we teach you. So if all of this is done, then it'll be easy for you. And trust me, gaps don't matter as long as it doesn't reflect any ethical behavior of yours which the company doesn't want. So the companies will definitely ask you why is there a gap. So if you prepare that answer and if you give them a good answer, that and if you can justify the gap that you have, then if you have the skills, nobody is stopping you from getting that job. Okay. Chetan says, are the courses mentored? Of course. So Chetan, there are many mentors at every stage in the course. So the first and primary interaction of yours will be with the trainer, right? So you can get in touch with the trainer in the class, ask all your doubts. So that is done. Apart from that, you will have personal mentors who will be assigned to you, who will be checking your progress throughout the course, right? You can get in touch with them by calling support, and they will help you out in getting your resume ready, having your mock interview sessions ready. All these things will be done by the mentors who will be assigned to you, and you can always ask. So most of the times you have queries. So what we have understood is, learners have queries like, I'm not free today, I want to skip today's class, can you arrange the same class for me next week? So all this is managed by your personal mentor, and all you have to do is give us a call and they will help you out. Ravindra says, how to get in touch with you, please provide your email ID. Ravindra, you can always mail us at support@edureka.co, and from there your ticket will be raised, and from there things will be solved. So do drop an email, and I will also put a word to the team that they will get in touch with you and resolve your doubts. Okay, any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Is there anything else that you would like to answer, like me to answer for you? Ravindra, what you can also do is, I've just put this form in the live chat. Just go through this form, fill in your details, you will get a call back from the team. Chetan says, I'm in first year at tier 3 college. I don't even know DSA. Can you suggest a good course if I don't even know what career options I have? Well, Chetan, a very good example in front of you is DevOps. You don't need data structure and algorithms in order to become a DevOps engineer, right? So one option you have in front of you, you can just check out the DevOps course and you can become a DevOps engineer without knowing data structure and algorithms. And like I said, you are not expected to code every day as a DevOps engineer, but what you will be expected to do is know the programming basics, like what is a for loop, what is a while loop, how to write if else statements, because these kind of logics are then used in tools that we will be teaching you in DevOps. Okay, any more questions, guys? Anything that I can answer for you? Great. So if there are no more questions, thank you all for your time. Like I said, you can check out our course page, and the link is given in the chat, and you can visit the course page, and while checking out, if you use the code YouTube20, you will get an exclusive discount of 20% on the course. So putting it in the chat again for your reference. And if you want to go ahead and check out a master's program, I'm gonna give you the link for that as well in the chat. Okay. Nikhil says, as I've completed my graduation in BCom Commerce by learning DevOps, which will build my career. Well, Nikhil, if you do DevOps, honestly, you are going towards a technical domain. You're going towards, technical jobs. If you want to pursue a career in commerce, then you'll have to do that. But if you're pursuing a career in DevOps, then be prepared to enter into the technical world. So if you know DevOps and you're applying for jobs, your background doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have studied in college. What matters is, can you do the job which will be given to you? And if yes, then you are going to be hired. Any more questions, guys? So guys, do fill out the form. Like I said, it's in the live chat, and the moment you fill it out, we will be reaching out to you shortly. Okay, so with that, guys, thank you all for attending this session. I hope this session was useful to you, and if it was, please hit the like button. And also, if you have any doubts, you can always, once this session is over, you can also put your doubts in the comment section, and we'll be happy to answer all your queries. So thank you all for your time. Have a great day ahead, and goodbye.